So a striking overall result that the ENCODE project reports is that they can assign a function, a biochemical function, to 80% of the human genome. The reason why this is striking is because not such a long time ago we still considered that vast proportion of the human genome was simply junk, because of course we know that it's only 3% that encodes proteins.
Very little of our genomes are junk. 80% of the genome is engaged in at least one biochemical activity. For a large fraction of the genome, not now 5%, but 80% of the genome, we can say we know that it does something.
This metaphor about junk DNA has become, I think, very entrenched. It's been entrenched publicly and entrenched scientifically. And ENCODE totally challenges that, but we just don't have big, blank, boring bits of the genome. All the genome is alive at some level.
So before we had the human genome sequence, we didn't really know what most of the letters of DNA were actually doing. Now we know something around 80% of those letters as a result of the data that ENCODE's collected. And that's kind of removed the definition of junk DNA in some ways. A lot of what we didn't know what it was and we thought it might be junk, now clearly is involved in some sort of function.
Now what we're finding is that the whole genome is alive with switches. You can't move for switches. There are switches everywhere. There is not a single place in the genome that doesn't have something that you might think could be controlling something else.